It has been a while since we have heard any type of positive stories out of Hollywood. So the fact that this story exists is the reason why I'm making this video. I believe that we need these messages more than we need messages of 1,000 bottles of baby oil and such, right? Thank you for breaking the news. Put those people away where they need to be. But we need this to be at the forefront. This is what I stand behind. This is what I believe in. And so thank you, Brett Cooper. Shout out to Brett Cooper, by the way. She has incredible content. She's been doing her thing for real. And just does some dope reporting of different information. So we're going to get into a video that she put out a few days ago titled Why the Gosling Family is Quietly Thriving in Hollywood. Now, I know a little bit about the Goslings. The most I know about the Goslings is there is Ryan and there is Eva, and there is Ken. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything I know about them. So we're going to get into the story of basically how they have an amazing, beautiful family that has been able to keep its sanity, not just sanity, but to thrive even in that quote unquote Hollywood machine, to be in it, but not of it. So let's get into this without further ado. Get my little water. Make sure you get yourself some water. Drink more water. Do that. All right.
So as you guys know, whenever we talk about Hollywood, we are usually making fun of yet another remake that they're doing. We're talking about the directors and the producers literally shaming their audiences for not liking their project, saying that you're not progressive enough, you just don't get our strong female leads, everything we're doing, or we're talking about like the corrupted minds of some Hollywood star, but not today. Today is a positive, hopeful episode, so everybody get excited.
That's exactly what I was saying. It sounds like every other day we just got a story about a diddler and a fiddler and a middler and just, yeah, Lord have mercy.
We might have just found Hollywood's best kept secret, the Gosling family. Well, it's not really a secret, obviously, because Ryan Gosling and his wife, Eva Mendes, are incredibly famous, but the way that they protect and shield their family is something to be admired and something that we should all strive for, and something that doesn't often get talked about in Hollywood. Before we dive into this, though, make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to the comment section channel if you've not already, and of course, hit that notification bell to make sure you stay up to date on all of our episodes. Now, I remember reading or hearing something about Ryan Gosling talking about his kids back when Barbie came out, but it didn't really stick with me. It was not something that I actually thought of. Obviously did not do an episode about it, but the Sunday Times just did an exclusive cover piece on his wife, Eva Mendes, which is a rarity for her because she's often very private, and it sent me down the best Gosling family rabbit hole. Now, since Eva Mendes rarely does interviews, a lot of this piece was kind of just catching up on her life, talking about the new children's books that she just wrote inspired by her daughters. She has this clean household brand that she's promoted, so they were talking about that. And in that same, part of the article, they asked her about acting and if she would ever want to return to the screen. And her response was incredibly thoughtful and illuminated so much about her marriage and her family life. And she said that stepping back from acting to focus on being a mom and being present and engaged was not a hard decision, and that she would only act again if it was with her husband, Ryan. They met on the set of a movie about 12 years ago, and she said that she was the proudest of the two projects that she shared with Gosling. Quote, "He gets something out of me that has never been accessible before." And she said that she would only return to the screen if it was with her husband. That is the one thing that I would love to do. And in that same part of the interview, she was also talking about how she felt like she was never really a great actress unless she was working with Ryan. Like, she thought she kind of just got roles because she was like,
I never thought I would live to see the day where individuals would be triggered by other people's joy. But then I realized, oh, you were just a naive child. You didn't understand that. That's the way that many people operate. That misery truly does love company. And so some people might hear that right there. Her saying she wouldn't want to act unless it's with her hubby. That there's that much love in that relationship. And some people be triggered. But for my more matured individuals out there, I know you just had an awe moment, just like I did right there. Because that is a beautiful thing. The fact that, again, she's able to openly express the appreciation, the love, and the value that she has for this man, and it's vice versa, right? Again, many miserable folk out there will be like, well, but what does he say about her? She should, no, chill. If you ain't got this dynamic, don't even talk. I'm in this type of relationship dynamic where, I'm head over heels, she's heels over head, and we're just, yeah. Love is love, and it's a beautiful thing, and I love love, so shout out to the Goslings already.
She was also talking about how she felt like she was never really a great actress unless she was working with Ryan. Like, she thought she kind of just got roles because she was like a hot Latina, but when she was working with Ryan, she felt like she actually became a great actress, which I think is just so beautiful. And it's also very in line with the things that she said about her beauty, you know, that many people think that she's beautiful and so attractive, but that it's her husband that actually makes her feel that way. Like, even after years of modeling and being on covers and being this sex figure, her confidence comes from him and their marriage and their commitment to each other, which is something that a lot of young women should hear, in my personal opinion. But back to the point, this is not the only thing that Ava has said in regards to returning to acting. In 2022, she also went on The View, and she told them that if it were to ever happen, the project would have to not include sex or violence, which again is just such a rare thing to hear coming out of Hollywood. And
Yeah, imagine having some morals, some values, some standards that you stand upon and that you not deviate from. Like for me, you know, I'm in the public eye. I started acting before anything else. At 2 years old, I was already in my first commercial. And I always said, like, if I end up going back into cinema, I'm not going to get into no romantic scenes, no kissing scenes, nothing like that. Oh, but it's just acting. Not to me. I stand on what I stand on, whether it's in front of the screen or whether it's for entertainment or otherwise. And that's just me. And some people might be offended by that. What? That is so extreme. No, what it is principled. She said, I won't get into anything with sexuality and violence in it because I respect my marriage and I respect my family unit too much. I won't disrespect my union. I won't disrespect my union. I won't disrespect my vows. I won't disrespect my children. Imagine that, to be principled in a world like this. That's controversy all by itself.
and obviously, I'm not going to sit here acting, you know, holier than thou and say that all movies need to fall in line with those standards. They don't. I mean, we would have missed out on so many incredible films, incredible pieces of art if that were the case. But I truly admire somebody who has drawn their line in the sand and refuses to let her morals be compromised for both herself and for her family's sake. And it is even more admirable when the family has a united front, both the wife and the husband, because Ryan Gosling has obviously had some huge movies over the last 10 years, you know, from La La Land to Barbie, now to Fall Guy this year, and almost all of them over the past 8 to 10 years have been fun. They have been light-hearted movies, and that is an intentional choice on his behalf. Just take a look at this headline from May from The Hollywood Reporter. Ryan Gosling on why he doesn't take on dark roles anymore. Family is in mind first. Imagine that! Coming out of Hollywood, that his family is prioritized. He said, quote, I don't really take on roles that are going to put me in some kind of dark place, he said. This moment is what I feel like trying to read the room at home and feel like what is going to be the best for all of us. The decisions that I make them with Ava, and we make them with our family in mind.
I'm telling you, when there is a solid family unit, there is nothing like it. This is what our societies were built upon, was a healthy family structure with families that took into consideration the adults who were the leaders in that household, making sure that the foundation of that household was steady, grounded, stood for something. And I believe that we are now having kind of a swing of the pendulum where we went so far the other side that now there is a fast shift to the other side of getting back to values, getting back to having a high sense of integrity and character means something again. To be somebody who stands for something as opposed to falls for anything means something again. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Again, sometimes times seem as if they are getting darker, when truly it is nothing more than an expose of, you know, the light making its way in. Because I believe that light would always outweigh the dark. And so when you have individuals who are this prominent at these levels in these structures like a Hollywood, making these types of decisions, and you can't stop the locomotive. This is an individual who has been in 2, if not 3, of the biggest movies in the last decade in Hollywood. Definitely with Barbie, one of the biggest movies ever. If not box office wise, then for sure cultural impact. And this is somebody who's made a decision in Hollywood to say, my family comes first in this decision-making process. I'm going to consider my wife and I'm going to consider my children. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Oh, what a beautiful
mind first. He noted that once he had children, he became way more conscious of everything that he's done in life and potentially will do in the future. Quote, I am just trying to figure out who they are and be there for them in the way that I can. They are such clear and distinct personalities, and that's sort of becoming obvious. You just want to be everything that they deserve. And in his mind, that includes not taking on roles that would emotionally and mentally pull him away from being a present and engaged father, or roles that would end up scaring his daughters because they are so young. And all of this started with La La Land, this huge, extravagant, fun musical that he did with Emma Stone right after his daughters were born. And he said that that was the first film that he signed on to with a different perspective in mind since having children. Quote, it was just sort of like, oh, this will be fun for them too, because even though they're not coming to set, we're practicing piano every day, or we're dancing, or we're singing. Gosling explained of the roles that he's accepted in recent years. Their interest in Barbie and their disinterest in Ken was an inspiration. I thought that they were already making little movies about their Barbies on the iPad when it happened, so the fact that I was going off to work to make one too, it just felt like we were aligned. That just makes me so happy, because what a gift that is, to grow up with a father and mother who are so aware of their publicity, of their fame, and they're willing to literally sacrifice opportunities and maybe their interests that they've had earlier on in their career to protect you and protect your perception of them. Like, these are such great parents. I bet they would even be willing to send their kids to GCU, because that is a school that you can trust your...
This girl, her segues into her ads are the slickest I've seen in my entire life. Thank you, but no thank you. I'm about to skip over that ad real quick. Where does it stop? The slickest transition I've ever seen in my life.
Cooper to learn more. Again, that is gcu.edu/Cooper. Is wild, because it's kind of like the bar is on the floor, but this is what parents should be doing. But again, we just rarely hear this spoken about. And all of this has just made people fall in love with him even more. One person on Twitter said, this is really thoughtful and beautiful. Everything we do as parents directly affects our children. You can no longer make a decision without them in mind. Another woman said, this makes so much sense. I think as viewers, we often don't think about how being in a role where your character is crying or angry all day takes its toll. It's been so fun watching Gosling have a blast in these lighter films. Another person said, I worked at a job that I absolutely hated for 4 years while my son was in elementary school. After I switched to another company, he remarked that I was so much happier. I didn't realize how much stress I was bringing home with me and how much my son was noticing. Good for Ryan. Another person said, this is beautiful, such a thoughtful man. Energy is transferable, and it's lovely to see him thinking about his family.
Everything that we project affects the ones around us. And so how much more to the most sensitive and fragile beings, which is a child, a baby, infant, even toddler stages and adolescence. There's a deep psychological and emotional effect, right, from however a parent shows up. And the child may display those recognitions, or they may not. They may articulate, or they may not. Most will not. They'll just internalize and then start to project in their own way. So when parents are stressed, when parents are frustrated, when parents are holding on to some emotional dissonance, that child is always going to be affected by it, no matter what, because energy is the first language we learn to speak. We actually don't learn it. It's technically inherent. Before words come into play, we have energy. And so that's you. Oh, speaking of energy, in the next message, energy is look, I'm already getting ahead of myself. I'm telling y'all, this happens all the time. I'll say something, the exact thing is right there. So I didn't even see this message yet. Let's get into it.
Beautiful, such a thoughtful man. Energy is transferable, and it's lovely to see him thinking about his family, making it a we instead of a me. God bless him. And time again, Ryan has obviously said that this was the right decision for him and his family, but I'm sure that it has not been easy, because he literally built his career up as a dramatic actor. That is his first love. That is why he wanted to go into Hollywood and make films like Stay and Drive are incredible films. Maybe one day he'll go back and do more like that. But I mean, you also can't deny that he is having insane commercial success with these new types of films. So, you know, they pay the bills while Ava can stay home, which is something that he's also spoken about. And just to keep all of the positivity going, Gosling has also said that even though he loves directing, that is something that he has also put on hold since becoming a father, because the schedule is too hectic and demanding it would take him away from his daughters, and he's not willing to do that. And based on the interviews that he's given about his recent films, it seems like most of them have been filmed in Los Angeles, so he's been able to bring his daughters to set when he's doing big dance numbers. He's been able to literally include them. That hasn't been totally easy, though, because another amazing thing, he and Ava did move their family out of Hollywood. They went a little north to give their kids a quieter, more normal childhood. Ava has also spoken out about their decision to homeschool their kids and to keep them offline without smartphones, which she admits people have literally called extreme. But as I am sure you guys all agree here, that is not extreme. None of this is extreme. And this shouldn't be rare, but sadly in this culture, and sadly in Hollywood specifically, it really...
Yeah, the reason we call things that are natural extreme is because we have gone to the other extremity of dysfunction, of chaos. We're used to broken homes. We're used to misalignment. We're used to fractured foundation within the family unit. That's what we're used to. It's not natural, but we've normalized it. And so, as I said earlier in this video, is there are those who will hear the story and they're triggered by it instead of motivated, inspired, or even, God forbid, resonate with it.
It really is. None of this should be special or crazy because these are just parents putting their children's safety and their innocence and their happiness over their own comfort and convenience. It is putting their children over their temporary career desires. It is sacrifice, it is commitment, and in our current day and age, that is a rarity, so this was just so positive to see.
Yeah. Thank you, Brett. Well, I don't have much else to say besides beautiful thing. Good for y'all. Good for all of us. So shout out to the Gosling family. Shout out to the Bale family. Christian Bale, I had to throw you in there, my fellow Aquarian. One of the other individuals within Hollywood who just, again, keeps a normal life. This is my work. I love to do it. This is my job. But, I'm not going to expose my family to the elements just because. And that's something that I'm modeling myself after. So I'm glad we have these type of examples in the places that they are, because we've oftentimes modeled ourselves, unfortunately, off of quote unquote celebrity culture, which I believe we're now stripping away and we're now, dialing back, or at the very least questioning, why are we putting these people on these pedestals and mimicking their ways of living? But when you do have examples like this, it is a powerful thing, a beautiful thing. And so again, shout out to the Gosling family. Till the next time. Peace.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light.